The unsustainable use of natural resources can result in an increase in a country's GDP while it actually becomes poorer. Legislators can play a central role in making the transition to the sustainable economy by recognizing and taking into account the value of biodiversity and of ecosystem services through the exercise of their legislative oversight and budgetary responsibilities. They can advance this vision by pushing for the implementation of wealth accounting and valuation of ecosystem services as practical tools to operationalize the vision of sustainable development.
We cannot continue top-down policy making unless we talk to the local communities, unless we integrate the different sectors of the economy, unless we talk to the marginalized economies and underprivileged sectors of our societies, then we're not going far. We have to capture the priorities, the interests of the different segments of the population. Okay. I think this is key. The other is putting in place the right institutional setup. Corruption has to be addressed. There are vested interests of different stakeholders which has to be addressed. People in high places or in the private sector, they have an interest in maintaining the status quo. And because achieving sustainable development for them may mean that they lose power, they lose financial resources, then they have to be addressed, and we have to acknowledge that, and we have to deal with them. Transparency is key, accountability is key to achieve sustainable development. I think these are all, and we acknowledge all of that, and I think a number of African countries now are taking steps to address this. Africa, and we all know, is the richest continent on the globe. Yet, unfortunately, we're still the poorest. Something is wrong.
Natural capital depletion is set to become a major challenge for businesses in the 21st century as population growth and climate change exacerbate the demands on Earth's resources. Given the severity of the risk, natural capital should be addressed at the board level and valued and managed in the same way as financial capital. Environmental experts are warning that businesses cannot continue to take natural assets for granted, and an urgent change in mindset is needed. Businesses risk facing water shortages and scarcity of key raw materials, which will disrupt the supply chain and make them vulnerable to price volatility. Businesses are now being urged to consider their dependencies and impact on critical natural resources and ecosystems with a view to managing or mitigating these impacts. Undertaking these analyses is of particular relevance to multinational companies with extensive supply chains in emerging markets, especially in regions already facing water shortages and air pollution issues. Environmental impact hotspots often lie outside of a company's direct operations, falling under the control of suppliers or further down the value chain, the end consumer instead. Natural capital accounting not only helps mitigate risk, but embedding sustainability considerations into decisions and strategy also helps promote the long-term resilience of the business. Furthermore, it can lead to product and process innovation, open new revenue streams and market opportunities, and provide brand differentiation. It is clear that over time, companies will make radical changes to their environmental accounting for resource use along their entire value chain. Companies that embrace natural capital accounting are likely to come to grips earlier with the major challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. Since Rio Plus 20 in 2012, 68 countries have supported a communique that calls on governments, the United Nations system, international financial institutions, and other international organizations to strengthen the implementation of natural capital accounting. In April 2013, more than 35 ministers, vice ministers, and senior officials of finance, development, and environment came together for a high-level ministerial dialogue on natural capital accounting. They were part of a larger group of more than 60 countries, and the first movers of natural capital accounting who were sharing technical know-how and the setup of institutions needed to move the agenda forward. Understanding the impact of commercial decisions is where companies need to become better informed in order that the consequences of actions can be better managed. Capital has often been thought of narrowly as physical capital, the machines, tools, and equipment used in the production of other goods. But our wealth and well-being also relies on natural capital. If we forget this, we risk degrading the services that natural ecosystems provide, which support our economies and sustain our lives. These services include purifying our water, regulating our climate, reducing flood risk, and pollinating our crop. By simply taking care of nature, we are taking care of ourselves. Well, that's our program for the day. Thank you for being a part of it. We hope to be back with you next week, but should you have any comment or question, our inbox at file@channelstv.com is always available. From me, Ayola Kasim, and the rest of the team in Lagos. It's bye for now.